Hi, welcome to mybollywoodstudio.com. I'm Jaya Vaswani, and I'm going to go over some of the basic steps in Bollywood dance today. Now we're going to begin going over some of the hand mudras. These are hand gestures that come from classical styles of Indian dance. There's actually 26 different hand gestures, but we're only going to go over about 5 or 6 as we consider these safe to use. So the first thing I want you to do is bring your arms out to the sides, and we're going to create a fan hand. Okay? Now starting here, you keep your hands nice and flat with the palms up, your arms nice and long out, and we slowly start lifting the pinky, the ring finger, the middle finger, and then the index finger. And that's how you form a fan hand. Now also what happens is I tuck in my thumb slightly here. So let me just try that one more time for you. We have our flat hand here, palm facing up, and we slowly lift our pinky, our ring finger, our middle finger, and then the index finger comes nice and strong and out. Now from here, I'm going to show you how you can use this movement in different ways. You can put it here in front of your torso and have the other fan hand above your head, and you can switch the hands in different ways. You can also make kind of like a sunrise, and you can also use this around your face. Now I'm just going to continue going over some of the other hand gestures. But one more note here with the fan hand, just make sure that your wrist stays straight here as well, that you don't have them twisted in any different directions. Everything should be flat and out, okay? And that's how you get your fan hand. So now from here, the second hand gesture we're going to go over is the peacock hand. The peacock hand is going to look like this. Now what we do is we have our hand again, our thumb, our index finger and our middle finger all touch together, and our ring finger and our pinky finger stick out. So this is what the peacock hand looks like. See, it looks like a little peacock. So now from here, we have our peacock, and we're going to rotate this from a fan hand to a peacock. So I start with the peacock here, and I'm going to bring it out into a fan hand and back into a peacock. And just to show you, you can also use a peacock in different ways as well. But one thing to note here is, as again this comes from the classical styles of Indian dance and it is sacred, we believe that you should always have your palm facing up towards the heavens. So if we were to bring our peacock hands above our heads, then we need to make sure that our palm is facing up. So from here we had the fan hand, now we have the peacock hand, and just a note here, when it's lifted up above you, you have your palm facing up towards the heavens. Now the third gesture we're going to go over is called the OK sign. You're going to also hear this called hole in the wall, but today I'm just going to call it OK. So with the OK sign, all you're doing is taking your thumb and your index finger and making a little hole. So that's your hole in the wall or your OK sign. Okay? And here we do some different gestures here where we can switch them around, and you'll see a lot of different movements when you take some of the more classes. So now we have the OK. That's our third gesture. The next thing we're going to do is squash the OK. So now we have this hand gesture. Okay? One thing to note here is that you don't want the fingers to be out in any sense. You want them to all be nice and tight and in. Okay? So literally you went from the OK to the squashed OK. And that's how you have this gesture. So that was number 4. The next gesture I'm going to go over is called the ring finger down. Now a lot of these different terminologies, I've decided to find the best ways of giving you ways to relate to the hand gesture. So you can also go and look at the basic step page and find out the Hindi term as well as the English term and the different meanings for all the different gestures. So again, now we have the ring finger down step. Now sometimes this is a little difficult if it's your first time trying it. But all I want you to do is keep your palm out facing out. I have my palm out facing towards you, and I drop my ring finger down. So what you don't want to do is have any of them sticking out. Your thumb should always be a little bit tucked in right there. So that's your ring finger down step. So we can put a ring on it. So now again we had the fan hand, then we had the peacock hand, we had the OK sign, we have the squashed OK sign, and we have the put a ring on it. I'm just going to go over one last gesture here. I call it the lovebird, okay? The lovebird looks like this. Now all I've done is, I've kind of made a little bit of a fist with my hand, but what I've done is I've taken my thumb, tucked it in, taken my index finger, curled it over my thumb, and dropped the other fingers down. So this is what I call the lovebird. So now again, just another quick review. We have the fan hands, we have the peacock hands, we have the OK signs, we have the squashed OK signs, we have the put a ring on it, and we have the lovebird. Now I'm just going to give you a couple more little combinations in these steps now using two hands. The first one I'm going to do is taking the fan hands and I'm going to just place them up here above my head. When I place them up here above my head, I like to call them antlers. So you're going to hear me call this antlers in quite a few more dances. So from here, from the antlers, we're also going to take the fan hands, bring them down again at our heart center, and we're going to form a lotus. Now what I've done is I've taken both of my pinkies of both hands, joined them together, joined my thumbs together, and there you go. Now this can be used sometimes when we're talking about an offering, or we're talking about a flower. So there you have the lotus flower. I'm going to give you one more fun one to practice. You take your palm out. I have my palm out facing towards you. You take your other hand and you line up your pinky and your thumb together. And now what I want you to do is drop the middle three fingers of one hand, drop the middle three fingers of the other hand, and the only ones that should be standing up are your pinkies and your thumbs. From here, we're going to just pull the pinky and the thumb out, put it right here at your mouth, do a little shake of the head, and you have a flute. So there you go. That completes some of our hand gestures at the basic step class. Make sure you practice these because practice makes perfect. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jaya Vaswani, and I'm going to go over some of the foot movements that we use in the basic steps for Bollywood dance. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. The first movement is going to be the basic step. Now what happens in the basic step is we have one foot stamped onto the floor, and then we have the other foot on the ball of the foot. So it looks like this. And if I turn to the side, you can see one foot is on the ball and one foot is stamped down. And all I'm doing is shifting the weight from one foot to the other. The same foot movement can also be used on the opposite side. So for some people, they feel more comfortable on one side than the other. It's totally up to you as you want to use this movement to practice. So now again, I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. I have one foot stamped on the floor, and I have the other foot on the ball of my foot. And all I'm doing is shifting the weight here. Now I can pick up the pace just a little bit and add a little bit more of a bounce. And this is our basic step bounce. Now we're going to do the same thing again to show you that we can do it on the opposite side. So here we go. This is the basic step bounce. Now this step is going to be used you can use this step to give yourself a lot of movement. You can go forward with the step, and you can go backward with the step, and you can also move yourself over to the left, and you can also move yourself over to the right. And this completes our basic step. The next step I'm going to go over is the cross step. So all you're going to do is take one foot, cross over to the opposite side, back to center, cross over to the opposite side, and back to center. Now if we add a little bit more of a bounce here, keeping your knees nice and soft, and all you're doing is just crossing over, crossing over, crossing over, and crossing over. Okay? The next step is forward and back. So all we're going to do is take one foot and go forward and back, and forward and back. And again here, the other foot that stays in center, my heel slightly comes up off the floor just to give you the balance. So all you're doing is shifting the weight forward and back, and forward and back. Pretty easy, right? Let's go over some more movements. So the next foot movement I'm going to do is just a step touch. All we're going to do is move over to one side, step touch, come back, and step touch to the opposite side. So it looks like this. Step, touch, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. Now again, we're going to add a little bit more of a bounce into the step. So it's step, touch, step, touch, step, touch, step, touch. You can also see, again, my knees are softly bended here to make sure that you're using this step as safely as possible, and also you're just shifting the weight from one side to the other. And when you add that little bit of a bounce, it gives you more of that Bollywood flavor. The next step, it's a little bit more tricky here. I call it the horse step. Now what you're going to do is you're going to turn yourself over to the side. I'm at a little profile angle here, and all I'm going to do is step out onto, let's say I'm going to use my right foot, and I'm going to step forward onto it, and then I'm going to kick the other foot back. So it's going to look like this. Okay? So we take one foot, step forward, as the other one kicks back. Now you hear quite a bit of a loud sound. That's just to at least help you see that you put all your weight onto the front foot and kick the other foot back. So it looks like this. Now we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. So it looks like this. Step, kick, step, kick, step, kick, step, kick. Okay? That's the horse step. We can also do the horse step in a reverse position. So now you step your face to the opposite side here, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to kick our foot forward. So it's going to look like this. Kick forward, kick forward. Now it looks a little bit tricky, but all that's happening is I'm just putting all the weight over onto the foot that I want to stamp down onto the floor, and the other one just kicks and allows us to give a little bit more movement to the step. So it looks like this. So to the opposite side, and like this. One last step I'm going to give you is the knees up. So all I want you to do is just bring your knees up, knees up, knees up, knees up. And we can add a little bit more of a bounce here as well. Okay, so we have knees up, knees up, knees up, knees up, knees up, knees up. Now as you can see, these are basic movements and they allow you to move yourself from left to right, forward and back. You can also do a little bit of a zigzag if you want to get creative. So let's do a little bit of a zigzag with a step touch. So now I'm backtracking to one of our other steps. So we just step touch, and all we're doing is a zigzag from side to side. Okay? So we can do the same one as well with another movement. We could do a knees up. So knees up, and we're doing a little bit of a zigzag. So thank you so much. This completes our basic step for our footwork. And as you can see, you can get creative with these steps and come up with your own movements in different directions. I hope you enjoy. And remember, practice makes perfect. Thank you.